Hello and welcome back to the Schooner Pod. I'm Bobby Howard. With me today, we've got, as always, Ty Lee, and filling in for Jameson, it's the captain, Boaton Blake. Um, and folks, baseball season. We've reached the tournament stage. OU is entering its last Big 12 thing ever, Big 12 tournament, uh, tomorrow. And they're the one seed. It's great. If you haven't watched Skip Johnson and the boys, you're missing out. It's also too late to do a preview because it technically started today. And by the time you hear this, the Sooners, first pitch tomorrow is at like noon. So we're not going to go deep on baseball. I'm not going to talk too much about OU and the Frogs. We're here to talk about hot dogs because the Big 12 has once again thrown us just a remarkable list of weird food items. We're going to rank them in Tiermaker. But we got to, before we dive into that, let's just talk a little bit about the baseball. Blake, are you surprised at OU being a one seed in the Big 12?
Yes, this is a complete shock to me. It's like, oh, you can field feisty teams. Like, we've seen it in the last 2-3 years. Y'all made a College World Series final. Like, that is no fluke right there. But the thing is, it's just like, OU doesn't recruit at a high level. They don't get high-level transfers. So you don't know till, like, the season actually gets going. And I feel like even in the non-conference play, they weren't super inspiring. Sure, they can win those games early on. They can win them against the bad teams, but really, it seems like OU took a huge stride during the conference play, where it's like when TCU went there and they swept us, and it's like, oh, like OU seems pretty feisty. Like maybe we're just bad at the beginning of the season, but nope, it's kind of both. It's like OU's really good, just ran through the Big 12 this year, plus TCU has had a very lackluster season for a school that actually tries at college baseball.
Yeah, OU winning the regular season for the first time in conference history. OU's never won a
On
Big
the
12.
way out too, which
On the way,
is just and then
something
I
going
think like
right.
Texas won like 15 Big 12 championships or something like that. Like obviously they're Olympic sport championships, but won them nonetheless. It's just been the biggest middle finger on the way out to the Shield from OU and Texas this year.
Hey, we'll talk about a middle finger from the Shield to OU a little bit later. But yeah, great run for Skip Johnson and the guys. I feel like a lot of people have talked about baseball being a weak sport for the Sooners. It's trending up in the right direction. So very excited about that. Ty, I feel like whenever I think of Big 12 baseball and hot dogs, I think of your 999. Is this throwing back any memories at all, or have you recovered since then?
No, I have in fact recovered since then. Thankfully, that was, I guess, almost a year ago, plus or minus a couple of weeks from today. That was not fun, but it was an experience.
No, it was indeed. It was indeed. But look, we'll talk a lot about OU baseball. They need a good run to possibly lock down a super regional type of seed. So would be really cool if that happened. We have plenty to talk about with that. But let's get into the dogs. Ty, what's up?
Hello, Schooner Pod listeners. It's me, Ty. If you're listening to this, I am recording on Sunday, the 26th. We've added this in afterwards in editing. OU has won the Big 12 baseball tournament. We just wanted to add that in to the pod that you are now listening after the 26th.
I don't know. I think Ty, y'all would have to make the run through the losers bracket because I actually feel confident just tomorrow in my Frogs. We have our ace on the mound, the only guy that has shown any sign of life this year. So it's going to be one of those games that's 2-1. It's just 2-1 who wins. And, I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm just sad it's 12:30. Always the good games in the middle of the afternoon. And it doesn't hit the same, Bobby, as us just going down to Bricktown Ballpark and watching these games and just enjoying like 4 or 5 days of baseball. Like it's a little harder when you're watching them at your desk.
Well, and not only that, but it's really hard, I imagine, if you're a citizen of Dallas to just drive all the way out to Arlington, and you can't spend like some of your day and then go back. Like you're really kind of married to the full day, which I don't love. This would be electric at the brick, though. It is just
Ah,
cruel
miss it.
that OU baseball hit its hottest point the second it left the brick, because that would have been great, man. So, all right, let's get down to the dogs here, folks. So, if you are not familiar with the Big 12 Eats program, every Big 12 tournament or conference championship, they break out these like wacky food items. They've done it once again for the Big 12 baseball tournament. And also, if you don't see every Big 12 team on here, that is because not every Big 12 team makes a tournament. Cincinnati, or not Cincinnati, it's Houston, BYU, and Baylor all out. And Iowa State does not field a baseball team, which is still hilarious. So nothing from them. So we have 10 dogs to rank.
Which is the change from last year. They did do 11 last year. They put Baylor. They gave Baylor an item without, like, nobody was there to, no Baylor fans were there to try it. So this is
They've learned from their mistake. They've learned from their mistake. Good for that.
I do want to front run this before we get into this. Bobby, are you going to spout some Iowa State propaganda about them inventing the hot dog or something like that, like you did last time with the walking taco?
No, I felt like that was actually like delved in research, though. Like
we did a Google search.
That's like,
and it was like
unbelievable
the most
thing.
hotly contested invention.
Looking at a walking taco and going, yeah, this came from Iowa, is just, that's absurdity.
Well, it just seems like the most white people version of a taco ever. So it kind of checks out. Again, you know what was also invented in Iowa? Taco Bell. So
I was about to say, like, I've met multiple people in my lifetime now that claims their family invented the frozen margarita, and I feel like the walking taco is that same lure that everybody claims they invented a frozen margarita, but nobody really actually did, because the history is so hotly contested.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to point out the first Taco Bell was in California. Hey, once again, this is like such an easily Googleable thing.
It was a man from Iowa, I thought.
A man?
I mean, might have been an Iowan. Oh, jeez.
He was born in Linwood, California.
Well, this is bad.
Glenn Bell, the founder of Taco Bell. What is this, Bobby? He's an Iowa State.
And he's from California. Where did I get that from?
Oh my God, Bobby!
Oh my God!
Bobby just loves to attribute like all of history to the state of Iowa for some reason. He's on the payroll, the state's payroll, the tourism.
Okay, no. Apparently, his grandpa was born in Iowa. Or no, not his grandpa. No, I have it wrong. His dad was born in Iowa, not grandfather. His dad
throwing stuff out there and seeing what sticks.
His dad, Glenn Senior.
So you know enough about Taco Bell history to know that somebody within the chain is from Iowa. I need to know the Wikipedia rabbit hole. You clicked on the founder of Taco Bell and went through his full ancestry.com to link him back to the state of Iowa.
Well, now I'm looking. I had to look back at it because now I'm like kind of panicked about it because I'm like, where did I get the Iowa thing from? So I think I just randomly saw it on the internet and I just attributed it as gospel, I suppose. So I got to feel like a moron now. That's fine. We're moving on. No bad Iowa propaganda here. We're egg on face. Let's talk about some hot dogs, which, by the way, genuinely hilarious that Jameson is not here for this one.
He would be all the most ironic. Like, see, I would need Jameson's houseability ratings here. It's like, how fast could you house one of these dogs? Don't get that analysis today because Jameson decided to go on vacation for like 5 weeks, it feels like.
How dare he? How dare he? Does not have that dog in him. Okay, let's start out with the first one. We're going down the list of this Twitter thread just so we can read it all. We're starting with the Bearcat dog. So this is from Cincinnati. It is a Texas chili, which is, I'm assuming, the brand of the hot dog. Foot-long hot dog wrapped with famous Skyline-style chili and shredded cheese. There's also some onion on there. Now, we're going to rank this from S being our best here, the best of the best, down A, B, C, D, and then finally hell, which is would not touch it. This will destroy you and might give you food poisoning. So, where we at with the Cincinnati dog, guys? The Bearcat dog.
S tier. It's just 3 different random animal names: bear, cat, dog. S tier.
Bear, cat, dog. Okay, that is kind of funny.
I would say yes. I was gonna go S tier or A. I think this is a solid double to a triple. It's something that is served at the Skyline Chili restaurant, which I think is always important. If you can kind of replicate something within the sphere of the city that is actually being served. Although this isn't the spaghetti, I think this is probably the easiest way to have Skyline Chili, shredded cheese, onions at a game. So I'll go along with Ty. I was gonna put it at A, but I think there's gonna be a lot of bad dogs here. I have a feeling, so I think this is a solid S tier. I would try this.
I was gonna go A because it's a little boring, but I'm pretty sure Cincinnati is a pioneer of this. Just like Skyline has this on their menu. You can get a coney like this, so I see where you're at. It's going to land in an S because of where y'all voted. That's fine. I'm not too upset with that because I think it's pretty high up there. You can find this in most ballparks. I feel like maybe not with the Cincinnati style twist, but they're innovators. So good for Cincy. All right, moving on to our next one. It is. Let's get it up. It is the Bevo dog out of Texas. Now, this one is a Texas chili. I'm going to stop saying the company. No free ads. It's a smoked jalapeno and cheddar sausage.
Ooh.
Served in a fresh hoagie roll and topped with smoked brisket, grilled onions, and spicy barbecue sauce. What do we think, guys? I mean, this feels like an S.
This is going to be one of those. No, this is going to be one of those where Blake's going to make his little argument about concession stand brisket. And then one of these other dogs is going to have the exact same brisket on it, and he's going to sell it as a positive. This is an S tier. Pull the picture back up. The onions even look like a little cowboy hat on it. Look at that.
See, that's my problem is all these ones with the onions, they don't even try to they're slightly.
This is a unique. This might be the only unique sort of meat on it with the jalapeno and cheese in the dog itself. This is S tier. This is the one that I would get if I had to pick one if I were there. So it's S tier for me.
Well, and it's not even like a hot dog technically. It's a jalapeno cheddar sausage, which I think automatically takes it up a notch. Look at
the onions. Look at the onions.
The onions look really dumb. The onions look really dumb.
Really
I'll give
bad.
you that.
Stretch them out.
But they look really bad on all of these.
I know, that's the thing. We have to take that into account, I think, a little bit.
Okay, don't even... If you're going to pitch eatability... The TCU dog, when it comes up, we're gonna have a discussion.
We'll get to that one. Yeah, that one's gonna go through hell right there. But
eatability, I feel like it's pretty high, but I wouldn't say it's S tier because I just don't think it's unique. I think Austin has lost its grip on the barbecue kind of capital slowly. It's still considered. It's slowly Fort Worth's rising in the ranks. I feel like things are slipping there. I hate those grilled onions on the top. I think the sausage is good, the brisket, the barbecue sauce. I don't know, it just feels like a lot of meats thrown together. It's just, what barbecued meats can you think of? I think it's a solid A to B, but I
could see this being served at a barbecue truck, though. You know what I mean? The brisket is an accent. It's not the main show. It looks like it does a good job with that. I like that it's a spicy barbecue sauce. This looks solid to me. I would have this as an S. This looks. I'm choosing to ignore the bad onions because hopefully it's better in person. It might actually be worse.
If you
never
get
know.
those, you pick those things right off immediately.
I have no idea why they're.
You are not eating those.
Why are they shaped like that? They need to be
chopped,
thin,
thin. You don't even.
chopped.
You can. If you can't get them thin, if they don't have a mandolin at the concession stand, you can at least take your damn spatula and just kind of beat them a little bit just to chop them up. And those things, I hate how they're they basically if you took the skin off of a Johnny's onion ring and just threw the middle onion onto a hot dog, that is what we are getting with a lot of these grilled onion options.
Don't insult.
You know who wouldn't have grilled onions like that, Blake? Smokies.
You know,
Oh,
Smokies.
Smokies. I wouldn't know. They're never open. They never opened.
They were open one night of the Big 12 tournament and then never opened again. But they're
We
open all the
need
time
to-
for. Yeah.
But
We-
I'm fine with losing this battle. If this needs to go
No.
to an S tier, it can, because I would ditch those onions, and I think it'd still be pretty good. Like a jalapeno sausage. Still.
we cannot move on without addressing something very, very important here. Blake needs to be subjected to the cruelest of medieval torture for claiming to be a barbecue expert and then saying this feels like too many meats thrown together. It's two meats, two different kinds of meats, and in the same breath you claim to be a barbecue expert and then said two different meats in one meal is too many meats.
I don't know. It just
That
feels
worked
like a...
very well together.
The from California allegations at this point.
I'm gonna lose
Damn.
this battle. Maybe it's the grilled onion that's getting to me. Maybe it's because it's from Texas. I don't know. It's it's a solid A. Like if somebody brought this to me, I would eat it. It's not what I am. It's definitely not what I'm seeking out. Like it's not.
You
in
went
the
with
top
like
two.
a basic chili dog as an S tier, though. So like,
Yeah, but it's Skyline chili, Bobby, the most famous chili in the world.
yeah, but like if you were in Cincinnati, you would be like, oh my gosh, that's Texas barbecue, the most famous barbecue in the world.
No,
No, they probably
no,
think
no.
Kansas City barbecue is the most famous.
Skyline chili is a it is a
It's also a
institution at this
meme.
point.
No one thinks
It is a
Cincinnati,
meme. It is a
Ohio,
meme.
when you hear Skyline chili either, though.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. All right, we're putting the Texas or the Bevo dog at a S. So moving on, we have the horned frog dog, which is a footlong hot dog topped with the taco meat, shredded lettuce, shredded cheese, diced tomatoes, and purple cabbage, served with a side of salsa verde. This is hell. This is a hell dog.
No, this is not.
This is a
pure
hell dog.
This is not pure hell.
There's
It
taco
is-
meat on there, Blake.
I know it's not pure hell, but like I think the salsa, the combination of things, there's enough flavors there to
Okay.
to
The salsa
to
verde.
raise
They have
this.
okay.
The fact
Let's
that
talk
it's
about the
not
flavors.
drizzled on the dog, it's there to dip, is just
I don't
hell
know.
tier.
Imagine dipping that bare tip of the weenie in that salsa verde.
That's what I'm
Like-
saying.
Yeah,
It's
it doesn't.
tier.
Yeah, so
Eat through it, and then you're left with like another little tip of the weenie on the other side that's just in your hand that you're just dipping into the salsa verde.
So, okay, here's my thing. Outside of the weenie and the dipping sauce, here are like two of the ingredients are either shredded lettuce or cabbage. When you're talking about a diverse bit of flavors, that's not that diverse. That's not really much at all.
Yeah, but you mix it with the other things. It basically creates a pico on top of it. It's like the flavors are there. The flavors are there not to be hell. It's the flavors are there not to be hell. That you could see, like, sure, have we ever seen this combination on a hot dog before? No. But like
Okay.
it has a distinct flavor profile.
We're talking about too
Your
many meats.
Your argument is you fear what you don't understand.
Yes. It could be good. It could be good, which is enough to get out of the hell.
Like,
it's,
go to Arlington and have one of these and
Look,
like,
here's-
report back.
There is not a single sort of like binding agent on all of these toppings. You go to dip this in the salt, it's all coming off. And then you just have a raw dog and a bunch of cabbage in your lap. And someone's like, why is this dude dipping his dog in salsa verde?
I feel like you gotta drizzle it. You realize your mistakes early on, that it's not an actual dipping sauce. It's more drizzled the salsa verde across
Where's
it.
the space to drizzle? It's all taken up by cabbage and lettuce.
Someone is going to be photographed eating this and it will become a meme. This is like, that's
It's
something we have
really
to worry
tall.
about nowadays. You're going to become a meme eating this and people are going to be like, what is this dude eating?
Okay, so where are we sending this thing?
Hell.
What
I don't
where
think
do
it's
you have
hell.
it?
I
What's
think
the lowest tier we have? I actually didn't
Hell.
see it.
It's hell.
We can't
it's-
be poverty tier because it's TCU, but
No, it's hell.
no,
Like, we don't
this
have
is
a
not
poverty.
hell. This is like, think about it. Like in the courtroom, You don't have enough evidence to convict them for being guilty, but you're pretty damn close. It's kind of like OJ at this point. Like,
No, they had enough.
sure,
evidence,
like
I think.
you can.
That is the whole point of this, Blake.
The history could say that this is a hell dog. Like,
Okay.
when all's said and done, it's a hell dog. We know he murdered, but, like, I feel like there's not enough evidence to convict because these toppings could work.
Okay,
They
and
could.
where
We
is
don't
he
know.
now? And where is he now?
We send it.
That's
now.
not for me to decide, though. That is not for me.
He's going to be
That
eating
is-
this hot dog in about 5 seconds.
That is
All
the
right.
man
We
upstairs.
throwing it down. We're throwing it down there, Ty.
No!
Blake,
It's
you
a
need to cast
D-tier
a
dog.
vote. You need to. Okay, so you're really going to cast a D tier vote, Blake?
Yes, I'm
Right,
casting
then
a
it's in
D-tier
hell.
vote.
Then it's in hell. We have 2 hells.
Yeah.
and a
We are
D.
gonna have
Two hells
nothing
and a
in the
D.
middle at this point. We are gonna have nothing in the middle,
Oh!
which
So
Which is gonna be so
like a
funny
binary
because-
decision.
is gonna be so funny because Bobby just wanted to do a yes or a no, and that's how this is gonna end up being. And we're never gonna be able to do a tier list ever again because of this.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Let's move
We
on to
gotta
our
find
next.
the nuance in the toppings, boys. Nuance. There is some nuance, some flavors that can
Good.
rectify some things,
have-
maybe.
We have a good.
If you cleared out some of that cabbage and lettuce, maybe there's space for the salsa verde, and maybe I would have listened. But no, I'm out. I'm out. That's hell. All right, moving on to our next one. We've got the Jayhawk dog, which is a footlong hot dog topped with sweet cheesy corn and smoked brisket. It's like a B,
A B.
maybe like a C.
Oh.
Actually, no. I take it back. That corn is definitely gross as hell. This is like a C, maybe a D.
I'm going D. The corn. The corn.
If this is what this looks like in the best case scenario promotional photo, imagine what's coming through the concession window.
Like
It-
that's like uncooked. Like they just poured a can of corn on that. Probably. Yeah. No.
That-
That was silly. That was
The
bad.
Jayhawk dog, if you have one of those in the first inning, the 7th inning is not going to be a stretch. It's going to be a run to the bathroom because that thing is going to move through you so quick.
Plenty of runs in the 7th inning.
Yeah. It's like on one hand you have the brisket, which is nice, but you're putting it directly on top of cold Jolly Green Giant corn. So
What does sweet
Here's-
cheesy corn mean? Does that mean they just throw that on the griddle for a second and top it with some cheese and put it on it?
Shredded cheese. It's probably concession nacho cheese.
Oh god.
Here's
bad,
my
but-
thing, right? It doesn't scream Kansas to me. Like if this is always a metric I think of when we're looking at the Big 12 eats. If you were to have never shown me this before, right, and you blank out who this is for, and you just give me the list of ingredients, and you say what school is this associated with, I'm never guessing Kansas, right? No disrespect to Kansas. There's probably someone listening to this like Kansas has amazing brisket, like blah blah blah. Just doesn't scream Kansas at all. I would not guess that. So for me, has to be hell. Would not eat it. Doesn't look good, and that just as a design and branding, yeah.
Wait, so the TCU one, which has way more semblance to the actual city, the colors, the university,
They just found
that's
a
one of your
triple-
factors. It very much links in into that, and it's still in hell.
Yeah, but that doesn't save you.
I think it bumps
No.
you up to a D tier, but that's
No,
no.
this
this
is a
one might
D.
end up C.
Let's put this in a. Are we putting this in a C or D?
I mean, my vote is hell. So wherever it ends up, my opinion has been voiced.
Let's put it
You know
in
what?
D. It's like a D.
Yeah, it's a D. It's the corn. What's the connection, Bobby? You're facts man with all your Iowa facts. Give us some Kansas facts. What's the connection to corn?
So I imagine corn is a relatively popular crop, even though Kansas is
like
more.
90% cornfields, Blake. What?
Yeah,
But
they're mainly wheat, but they have some corn.
Lawrence
you know?
is like Kansas City, it would make sense if it's Kansas State, and you're out on the farm side, but I don't know.
It's still Kansas.
They have the
Okay.
waving the wheat and stuff
You just said the waving the wheat. That is not wheat. That is corn.
Well, they they do other crops. You know, they're not strictly only on the wheat. You know, there are other crops that appear. Corn being one of them.
In terms of money, corn is Kansas's top crop.
Oh, well, there you go. And I feel like with the brisket, it's like maybe a nod to KC barbecue, but like that's more of a burnt end thing. But you can't put burnt ends on a hot dog, so you just make brisket and call it good.
Wait, why can't you put burnt ends on a hot dog?
I feel like you can very much do that.
They're very much putting anything on a hot dog at this point. Why are burnt ends not?
That's actually a good point.
Like a burnt end relish. You get some relish and mince it up, put it in some barbecue sauce, put that across the top.
Yeah, it's an unfinished idea. They should have put burnt ends in there. Probably too much effort. So yeah, we're putting it in D. Let's move on to our next one. We've got the Knight's Dog out of Central Florida. This one is a foot-long dog piled high with warm sliced ham, juicy pulled pork. I'm glad that they added juicy in there, and melted Swiss cheese topped with a spicy mayo. Not mentioned are the pickles in there. So this is like essentially their take on a Cubano, which is not Orlando. It's more Tampa or Miami. It's very Miami. Tampa also has them. They're just kind of culturally appropriating the other two, the two better Florida cities. So it's
shocker.
It's an idea. It's an idea. I don't think it's. I think they tried. I don't really know if because they're going with a theme of hot dogs. You can't really do that much. You can't make a churro dog. You couldn't do like anything.
Wait,
with
why
oranges.
couldn't you make a churro dog?
You could, once again, what?
Yes, like Bobby's like, you can't do this. I'm like, you could definitely do a churro dog.
Did you want cinnamon with your dog?
Like a churro dog thing?
You could put a churro in as the weenie, Bobby.
Well, okay, now I see what you're saying now. I see what you're saying now. That feels like instant diabetes, but there you could do something with that. I see the vision. I see the vision there. But like with this, it's not awful. I like the idea. I feel like the execution's probably awful, but the idea's there. I don't know. You are dealing with. It's a hell?
It's a hell. Sliced ham? You're going down to Publix and just wrapping this dog in sliced ham and gonna eat it? And you say that's a good topping?
It is not wrapped. It's on a bed of, as you can see in the photo.
It's not even shaved. No, it might as well be. Once you close those buns, those floppy pieces of ham are gonna fold right over it. You're just gonna be eating a ham wrapped dog.
Well, you got a nice like the Swiss cheese is interesting. Like it's unique. I don't think it's good. I think it's good enough for like a C.
Okay, I got roasted for the frog dog being unique, and it's automatically hell. And this one is unique as all get out, and it's in the same. It's the Cuban version of what the Tex-Mex frog dog is, and that ended up in hell. This is a hell dog. This is a hell dog.
It's much more edible than just a pile of shredded lettuce and cabbage.
It's gonna be floppy as all get out, Bobby. You take a bite in that, the ham's gonna be flopping out of your mouth, the pickle's gonna be dragging out. There's no chewability to this.
There's no chewability to the other one. And at least if I'm biting into something with this one, it's like a variety of meats and Swiss cheese instead of just a bunch of filler cabbage on a dog that I can't put my sauce to vary on.
Taco meat. Taco meat is like the closest thing you could get to chili before chili.
That's the most crumbly. I'm out on that.
No, God, look, you want your ham sandwich, dog? Do you want me to make you a little ham sandwich tomorrow and put a little hot dog in the middle of it?
But here's the thing. Most of the ingredients are under the dog. The only ingredient on top of the dog is the pulled pork.
Dude, that thing's going to be flopping all over the place. It's going to be flopping all over the place. Those deli sliced hams from Oscar Mayer.
The ham is anchored down, Blake.
The ham.
First off, this is a Texas chili footlong hot dog. This is not an Oscar Mayer dog.
No. You know that I'm talking about the deli meat. You know the deli meat that they're putting on there. Bobby,
they're not doing boar's head.
It's sliced ham. It's sliced ham on a hot dog.
I got to get this out here because we're too deep into this argument. I think, one, turn this baby about 90 degrees, put it in a panini press. You got something really special cooking up there. I think this has cult classic status written all over it. I think it's going to get yanked.
Dog?
It's going to get yanked next year, and people are going to say, no, just enough to toast the edges of the bun. And I think people are going to miss this. To me, I wouldn't get it, but S tier.
You know what would happen
S-tier.
Oh my god! You know what would happen if you put this
is
dog
a melody
sideways
of
in a?
meats. This is a melody of meats. This is music on a.
This is not music. If you put sliced ham on any good meat, that is not a melody of meats. That is
okay. So all right, it might be like. Hey, it might be like Mozart bass boosted, but it's
you know what happens if you flip this thing on its side? All the toppings would fall out, besides the ham. Because it's the only thing that's anchored.
You'd sprinkle them on after.
You know what would fix this dog is if you put a piece of bread on top of it and then smashed it. You know, like that's a cubano.
Let me give another suggestion, Bobby.
Bun in the middle.
If you put another piece of bread on top, rip out the hot dog then, and then just make yourself a decent sandwich. But this is an abomination.
You could, you know what?
It's lunch meat in a hot dog.
You can always ask them to add another bun. Be like, hey, can I get an extra bun to put on top of this one? And then you just have a sandwich.
What if you deconstructed the dog in here? What if you took the dog out, minced it up, and then put it back in there? It was almost like a sandwich.
You're making
on a hot dog.
Chopped cheese out of a hot dog at this point.
Well, at that point, that's just a meat sandwich. That's not a hot dog.
That's what I'm saying. No,
disgusting.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I think it's a C.
No, it has full pickles on it. Full pickles.
So okay,
these are not full.
Ty pickles. Has it in S. I have it in C. Blake has it in hell. So I think you trend lower, so I think it's a C.
Well, wait, what are the categories again?
It's S, A, B, C, D, hell.
Yeah, so I guess it's a C.
It's a C. It's
adequate. That's an abomination. The fact that that's even on a list. Bobby wants his floppy meat dog that he just wants to chow down on. Just wants to wrap it in some lunch meats and eat it.
I had it as a C. I didn't have it in S tier now, Blake. Come on.
Basically, by the way y'all are talking about it.
Just trying to, mix it up a little bit. So
that's a hell. If I've ever seen one.
All right, moving on. Next, we have the Mountaineer dog from West Virginia. It's an all Angus beef hot dog, pepperoni, and mozzarella cheese, then baked to golden perfection and served with a side of marinara sauce. So essentially, a pepperoni roll dog.
S.
This is S, man.
This is
easy S.
This is like Auntie Anne's with their pretzel dog, it's easy to dip. Yep, it's a kolache, basically.
Yeah, it really is.
I disagree. Marinara sauce on the side of an all beef hot dog?
No, but it's like you dip it with the bread.
Why would you dip a croissant in marinara sauce?
Because it has pepperoni and mozzarella in it.
This is not to me, this is a C.
C.
That's what I said.
Come on. No,
I'm not trying to manipulate it. This
is the ultimate
this is a
manipulation.
We can't.
This is the key S dog.
This is the best dog on the list. This is the best dog on the list.
This is not even a hot dog.
That's arguably why it's the best.
But we're rating the Big 12 eats. The eats, not the dogs.
Wait, hold on. You were literally advocating for another dog minutes ago. It's because you're like, if it wasn't a hot dog, it'd be better. So it should be an S tier.
I was trying to paint Blake into a corner there. He didn't bite on it, so it didn't really. This is called a dog. This is fraud, is what this is.
Pretzel dog is still a dog.
They're misrepresenting what this is.
So what is a pretzel dog then?
The pretzel dog is not on here. The pretzel dog is not on trial today, so I don't know why.
If it were, would it be a dog?
It's irrelevant. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna look up the legal definition of fraud.
Literally, Pillsbury pizza crust that they use is basically crescent rolls, which is America's version of a croissant.
I mean, This is an
it
S
sounds
tier.
fantastic.
It's so
This is-
obviously an S.
No,
Yeah,
We're
this
keeping it at
sounds
S. We're keeping it
fantastic.
at S.
this is
We're keeping it at S.
unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable what is occurring. You don't even know that there's pepperonis in there. You can't even see them.
That's
they
the
say-
point. It's like a kolache. You can't see the jalapeno and cheese in a kolache, and then when you bite
but
into
kolache
it
is
comes
good
out.
because it has jalapeno and cheese in it, not because it has pepperoni and mozzarella in it.
Do you not like pizza?
I don't. Pizza is not on trial here. I don't know why you guys keep trying to bring up this whataboutism about other foods, and it's
With
not
similar
what's on-
properties.
What is up for debate in this court today is whether or not this is actual fraud that needs to be reported to the authorities.
It's an S tier.
It's an S tier.
It's an S tier
It's
dog.
so
It's an
clear.
S tier dog.
Unbelievable.
All right, we're moving on to our next one. This is the Pistol Pete dog. Let's get it pulled up here. And look, this one's going to look really weird, but it makes sense if you know, you know. It is a foot-long hot dog served in a bun with a layer of cream cheese and then topped with Texas Chili Company chili, shredded cheese, and crushed Lay's potato chips. This is a Dirty Curdy. This is a tribute to so if you're not familiar with Oklahoma State and Stillwater, they have an obsession with hot dogs that rivals only Jameson. They have a couple hot dog spots, and none more famous than the Curdy Shack. And this is their signature dog. I've never had one. What we need to do is phone a friend and ask Chase, our pal Chase, if this is actually good or not. Because on paper it looks like a hell, but if people like it this much, then I don't know if it's a hell.
It's not a hell to me. It's probably a solid B tier. Like, I do like the crunch. I'm like, if the cheese barrier topping blocks enough from the chili, it can still have a crunch, which I like. I like the different texture changes. Thing that freaks me out, I'm a big cream cheese guy, but like the texture of cream cheese sometimes, if you put it on random foods, freaks me out a little bit. So I think like a solid B tier. It's like a chili dog with some interesting moves. Would I want to have a bite of it? Yes. Would I want to purchase a full dog? No. But yeah, I'll put it at a solid. I think it's a solid B for me.
Yeah, I like B. I like B for it. It's certainly not a C, but for me, it is eh.
If they prepare it correctly, I feel like it could be good. But if those chips get soggy, then it could start moving down the ranks.
I'm not gonna lie,
Right.
that little argument
fast.
there has me trending more towards C, just thinking about like what's actually gonna come out the window. But for this, I will stick with B.
I think it's a C tier dog, but the tradition bumps it up a little bit because that's like an actual tradition at OSU, you know? Like this isn't like paying shades to or like alluding to it. This is just straight up the hot dog. Like this is
I'm
the
kind of
item.
with Blake. Like perfectly executed, this has A, if not S, potential. It like if it really works, but it's not in this environment.
Right.
You need like a lab environment to create that dog.
But like the lab environment usually is the strip in Stillwater at 2 a.m., you know, so it's not exactly like prime conditions.
I don't know. Seeing some of these concession workers, I feel like even just like the lowest level businesses give more of a hell than some of these concession stands. Remember, because like same as like the Wabash Cannon Dog, a famous hot dog that graced the first list, it was a hot dog and it was rooted in tradition of the jam part is it's like they have that cream cheese like jam or like weird cranberry
Cream
like
cheese
blackberry
jam.
They do. I forget about that.
Yeah, it's like a weird dip that they do where they mix like cream cheese and jellies and stuff like that together. It sounds disgusting to me, but like it's at least rooted in it's a black beans too. And like it's
that's
rooted
right.
it's rooted in tradition, but it
Disgusting.
just yeah. At least this one is like it's from a dog place. Like that's a dip that they tried to create into a dog and created the worst product known to man. So
Yeah. All right, moving on to our next one. We have the Red Raider dog. So the Red Raider dog. This is going to be a fun one to talk about. It's a foot-long hot dog nestled in a bun with a colossal mozzarella stick that is split in half and smothered in warm marinara sauce. I'm a staunch defender of the mozzarella sticks at Tech, the Spanky's fried cheese. That being said, this is a bastardization of that. I have it in hell. It looks awful. It looks awful.
I need to hear Ty's take on this.
No, this is hell. This is absolute hell. You want to talk about like you've taken a bite of this and the whole cheese is separating from the outer shell and just coming out. And then you've got a little bite of hot dog and you've got the rest of the cheese just like a goatee. This is hell. This is like absolute. I'm not, we've already discussed, I'm not vibing with the marinara on this stuff. This one is warm, implying that the West Virginia marinara is not warm because they didn't add that kicker. This deserves to be where the West Virginia dog also deserves to be, in hell for different reasons. This one because it's bad, West Virginia because fraud is wrong. But for me, hell.
I will say mozzarella or marinara placement matters. Dipping something in marinara is so different than having it on the bun, which is making it soggy, making it fall apart.
So you do not like pizza, Bobby?
Well, that's different. Pizza's designed to hold
you just made.
The pizza crust is not light and fluffy like a hot dog bun. It is solid. There's a solid underbelly to it that keeps it all together.
Blake's about to say something out of pocket.
Blake, you got it.
I don't think it's out of pocket. I think it falls into the same category as my TCU dog. It's like
hell.
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like it could be good. It could really be bad. Like I think it's gonna be more bad than good. But I'll go D ultimately because how do you split a mozzarella stick in half? Like, anytime you bite into the end of a mozzarella stick, all the cheese immediately rushes into your face, and you're left with just a shell of fried dough. So how are you supposed to cut that in half and, like, keep all the cheese, everything together? I don't get how you can do that. I don't. Mozzarella sticks. That's why I think they're overrated.
It's like butterflying a chicken nugget. Like
yes.
Okay, I just went on my Twitter and like zoomed in on the image. Not enhanced. Enhanced. I zoomed in, and it looks like they take the cheese stick itself, butterfly it, cut it in half. Kind of fold it open and
that's my problem. Have you ever tried to butterfly melted cheese?
Well, no, it's not melted yet. You butterfly it and then you melt it. You dip it in.
So then, how do you fry it, Bobby?
Because it's
a butterfly cheese.
The cheese is like this, and you dip it in, and it comes out like that.
How do you fry it then?
You dip it in the fryer.
You can't just like butter.
No.
It's just gonna float off. It's gonna be an island.
It's like a stick. When you break it in half, you create two sticks. When you butterfly a cheese stick before frying it into a mozzarella stick, you just create either one oddly shaped or two mozzarella sticks. There is no way.
Bobby, if you butterfly that thing, that cheese will float away in the fryer like the second it hits it.
You realize
a mozzarella stick, it's not like pinned to both sides so that when you split it, it's just gonna be.
Does it change the density of the cheese? It has no effect on whether or not it would float, Blake. Oh my god!
I mean, no, because it's not fully split in half. It just has like a little wedge in it. Regardless, it's a dumb idea, and I think it's a D. I'm just trying to figure this out.
So I'm gonna get a big old greasy cheese now. That's gonna be like somewhat.
That's why
browned.
It's awful. It's not good. It belongs in hell.
This might be hell.
This is hell, folks. I mean,
before we've investigated it,
it's hell. It's hell. By the way, I just got some feedback on the Curdy, by the way, from our friend Chase. He said, holds a special place in our heart. or his heart. Always slapped after a night out, but you knew you got a curdy when you woke up. He doesn't love cream cheese, but it somehow works on those greasy dogs. You got to get the crunch. So I guess it's good, but like, does it hold up in the daytime? I don't know.
You need to be multiple beers in deep, plus a little pregame in order to attack that dog.
Cap off at 999 with the OSU Pistol Pete dog.
How many of these dogs could you have housed in the 999 if you took out the S tier, Ty?
There's only one I can think of.
Like if I took out, like if I had to,
if you like had to replace your 999 dogs with some of these, like how many dogs are you getting through?
Like, can I pick just one to like just stick with that one?
Or no, you're trying all the different ones. So you're just trying to like. Could you do any outside of S tier? Like,
yeah, I would even if I was doing because like you talk about having to try to eat 9. One, I would not eat the West Virginia one because I don't participate in frauds. But I like the Oklahoma State one is infinitely more eatable than because again, my personal rankings, the West Virginia one is in fact in hell. So like my top 3 are Cincy, Texas, Oklahoma State for right now. UCF, like that is one that like if you sat me down and said you had to try like 4 of these, I would probably try the UCF one because I'm curious about it, but it's just too much. It's too much stuff.
Yeah,
fair.
The UCF one is too much stuff.
It's a whole meal, which is great in that context. But
all right, speaking of, let's do a dog that does not have too much stuff. This is the Sooner dog. I don't know why I pulled it up like I needed to. Like I had to look at the ingredients.
You can.
This
see
is
them.
It's a.
You don't have to hit enhance on that one.
This looks for those listening on the podcast. First off, this one is the most deconstructed, and for some reason, it has 2 toothpicks in it. All the other ones had a single toothpick, which I don't understand what those are doing at all. And then imagine for the onions, for some reason, imagine the delicious grubs from Lion King that Timon and Pumbaa and Simba eat. That's what these onions look like, except those grubs look scrumptious in the Lion King. These look like grubs.
Those grubs were a top 10 food item, like animated food item, next to like I'm trying to think like the pizza in a Goofy movie.
Next week on the Schooner Pod, tier ranking fictional foods.
Yeah, cartoon foods. Which cartoon foods look the best? So yeah, it's a hot dog, just a foot-long dog with griddled onions and American cheese. So when I say griddled onions, they're lightly grilled onions. The hot dog and the onions are sitting on a bun with just like Kraft singles on it. It's just what is even worse?
These onions were like
2 pieces of white bread with 3 Kraft singles.
They left the onions in the sun.
A suspiciously sweaty hot dog laid across it.
Why is it glistening?
Onions. It looked to have been boiled because they do appear to be
they're all boiled,
soft, but not at all cooked.
How do these I wasn't a fan of the Texas onions, but how did these somehow look so much worse? Like I can't tell if they put them on for longer or it's not shorter because at least shorter you would get raw onions, which would make this like 10 billion times better.
It's okay. It's the fact that they're sitting next to just a unmelted Kraft single that makes them worse.
How do you not, like, even the heat of the dog can melt a Kraft single? Like, you can melt Kraft singles like no other. That's why they put them at McDonald's and every other fast food restaurant.
You cannot tell me this isn't a deliberate sabotage by the big.
This is bad.
It's more egregious than the Drake Stoops pass interference.
This is absolutely absurd. Yeah, this is equal to the Stoops PI, except you can make the argument like, oh, heat of the game, like, ref bad angle, blah blah blah. Like this is a premeditated attack on Oklahoma.
They had time to think about this one. I will say it's clearly an attempt to try to do something with like a fried onion burger, but
How are you reading into that at all? Just because it has onions?
cheese. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
that's it.
I'm not saying it clearly doesn't make sense because it's a bad concept, but I think that's what they tried to do with it, because they've done actually fried onion burgers in the past with it. You have to have the burger. You have to have the burger, which allows the onions to be smashed. It just falls apart when it's just a hot dog. It's pretty bad.
Why is the dog so sweaty?
It's glistening.
They had a little spritzer on it, just like.
Why is this photo so much more zoomed into? Like the other ones I could barely see, and this one I can see every perforation in the dog. The Big 12 really wants me to stare down this thing. Get every look of its ugliness.
Partially some of it's because I was the one who added the little blocks. So that's partially on me. But it's bad. That being said,
I wish we could create a new tier. Some of the hell dogs I would actually be like just a bite to try, and this is like no.
If I took a bite of this, I don't know if I'd be repulsed. It'd just be a bad hot dog.
They're not going to look better than they are in the photo shoot.
But there's nothing like with the Wabash Cannon dog that looks like I'd get food poisoning. This just looks like a low effort hot dog. Like something
How is the bun completely flat? They had to have squished it like that. Like
it's all them toothpicks.
There is no way. Even if you take a hot dog, like think about a hot dog, like a cheap hot dog bun, right? Even if you take it out and rip it into two pieces and lay it on the plate, it will not lay as flat as this in this picture.
Well, and here's the thing too. If you look very closely, if you look at like the bottom fourth of it, you can see there like the bun is crusty. It's split.
Yeah, it's split.
The bun is crusty. This is what the worst thing the Big 12's ever done to us.
This is Satan. This is Satan itself ruling hell.
I can't not. You can't not put it in hell. I don't like.
It is hell.
You kind of have to, but
absolute hell tier.
But I think it's edible.
Going to order this.
I think it's edible.
But see, that's the thing. I'm like, at least the Wabash Cannon dog would just purge it from my body immediately, and then I get rid of like whatever the effects are. Like this, I could probably swallow, and I would have to deal with just the thought, thinking of that picture of that dog in my stomach, and that is gonna make me infinitely more sick.
Immediately follow it up with the Kansas dog, and you'll be good.
It just looks like something I would just haphazardly like. What it looks like actually? It looks like something a toddler would make, like as their first like food item. They made a hot dog, and then just put a little craft single on the bottom.
It looks like she took the kids and the car and the dog and the house, and you're living in like the play set that you got somehow, and this is what you can cook.
It is. It's the damn bitch you live like this, like dog. Like, it's so bad. Oh man! All right, we got one dog left. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one actually. Where are you? There it is. It's the Wildcat dog from. And by the way, I have to call it out. All of these have are spelled like DAWWG for some reason. Just very weird. This is a foot. This is a foot-long hot dog piled high with succulent. Wait, nice thesaurus there, Big 12. Breaking out the succulent pulled pork and topped with crispy fried onions and Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Out of principle, I want to throw it in hell. Because no, hear me out. The cowards had a perfect opportunity to bring back the Wabash Cannon dog, and they didn't take it. This would have been it would have been great. The return of the king. We would have loved it. But go ahead, Blake.
The Wabash Cannon dog was maybe like a meme that maybe a total of 100 people saw. That's the best part about it.
I'm sure some people saw it. I don't know. Big 12 Twitter feels like it's bigger than it actually is, but this is a objectively pretty solid hot dog.
It's significantly better than the Kansas one.
This is hell tier.
How?
Hear me out.
You literally
Hear me out, right?
You put that dirty
in the
Texas
description-
dog in S.
In the description, right? It's a Texas hot dog. It's got Sweet Baby Ray's, which is from Chicago. It's got French fried onions on it, which are vaguely French and also mostly associated with Southern food. And then it has pulled pork on it. None of this is Kansas State. As we've established, Kansas State, much better alternative that does exist that's being ignored. Kansas State, for some reason, is not getting the let's add a random purple food because they're a purple team that TCU gets every time. This is absolute hell. You should not trust this. This succulent pulled pork from a concession stand, this is going to take you out. This is
But
not
the brisket, which I am of good authority that Bobby told me a few days ago, brisket significantly more hard to make than any pork item.
Wait,
or most pork items.
Safely or to be like good? Like it's certainly like a much higher ceiling.
Good.
It's not safely. Like it's going over. You know, you're not getting a medium rare brisket. So you're going over every time, but like it's a matter of quality. So pulled pork, I don't think it's hell.
This is hell.
What the hell? And you put the Texas dog? It
does not belong up there with it.
It's the better version of the Texas dog without the granted they had the jalapeno cheddar.
Different. It is entirely different from the Texas dog. In fact,
it kind of is, but kind of isn't, because they replaced the sausage, the good part of the Texas dog, with a hot dog. They replaced the brisket there with the pulled pork here, and then instead of the limp onions that we've been saying are so disgusting, they actually try to do something with them.
Fried onions, yes, or absolutely, but the Texas dog is entirely Texan. It's a Texas sausage. It's got a hoagie on it. It's got smoked brisket. It's got grilled onions and an actual Texas barbecue sauce. Kansas has barbecue sauces. This is like they're out here just copying people's flow when they have their own stuff. It doesn't make sense.
But Kansas State's not Kansas City.
If it does not make sense, you must banish it to hell.
I don't think it's hell. I think it's like a B or an A.
I think it's a B or an A too.
We don't have anything in A.
That's absurdity.
We got to put it at an A.
I think we might.
Okay, both of you guys said B or A.
I have a trade idea. I think OSU might get bumped to an A.
No, that doesn't do anything for me.
I think OSU should be bumped to an A. K-State should be B.
I will cast this to an A vote. This is hell, right? And we're going to have to do the little average thing to figure out where it lands. I will only vote for this higher if the West Virginia dog is moved to hell where it belongs.
No.
This isn't the bargain.
This one is hell.
This isn't bargaining. It's not hell. It's like a B dog. So if we want to play that game, Blake and I will put it in S, and we'll put it at B.
That's it. You guys have already cast your votes, though.
Well, I just moved OSU to A because Chase. I asked him if the dogs were good, and he just told me that like people have them at the weddings, at OSU weddings. That should be
an additional data point.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We refined our conclusion.
But I feel like we should put one in every category at least.
Yes.
So K-State should be a B.
Ty, I want to continue making tier makers. I can't have Bobby just be like, yay or nay.
We don't have to have something in the B tier to continue making tier makers.
I don't know. Your one off comment that one time caused him to completely abandon tiers for it was Jameson.
Yeah, Jameson got me all self-conscious. Got me shook about the tiers.
I'm anti-tier maker because we set rules beforehand and then we just ignore them when we disagree when Ty brings up a fact.
But it's
not a fact. It is when Ty brings up.
All right, Ty, I have an idea.
Dog does not include anything from Kansas.
Let's move K-State to C and Central Florida.
No.
Okay, that appeases no one, Bobby. What is this?
That is just absolute hell.
I dropped it one.
What is it called where they slip some random thing into like a bill so no one notices and they can get it like
pork?
Yes. Is it
pork? Which is
ironic Central Florida dog.
Perfect pun.
The Central Florida dog has like 4 different versions of pork in it. Okay, now let's stop playing around here. We're gonna go K-State B. All right,
Yeah.
let's just call it here
Right.
because
My
we
vote
don't need to
is-
argue about
Yeah,
a ranking
no,
of hot
I'm
dogs.
moving
for this
on
one.
from it. My opinion has been heard that West Virginia and K-State both belong in hell. I'll be silent for the remainder of the pod. I just need on the record once again that Blake professed to be a barbecue expert and then said 2 different meats in one meal was too many meats.
No,
That
the
was-
combination
that
of
was a
those
bad
two
take.
meats.
That was such a bad take.
It kinda was
Texas
bad,
looks so good.
but-
Okay. Blake did say, okay, it's just the combination of those 2 meats.
I know, when you
One
get
of the
2
meats-
meat plates at a barbecue
Sausage and
restaurant.
One of the meats is a
Jalapeno
hot
cheddar
dog
sausage
already.
and brisket.
Almost
Those
all
are
of
2
these
meats.
has to have 2 meats on them, including the
I
hot
just
dog.
I can't believe we're putting a Texas dog as in the S tier. That just feels wrong to me. I'll pull every
okay.
string I need to get it down. But
All right, so we're running them down to end the podcast. In the S tier, we have the Cincinnati dog, Texas dog, and West Virginia dog. In A, it's Oklahoma State's Dirty Curdy knockoff. B is Kansas State, their pulled pork fried onion dog. C is Central Florida's like Cubano style dog. D is the Kansas brisket corn dog. It's really, not great. And then in hell, the lowest tier, we have TCU, the Horned Frog dog with the cabbage and salsa verde that you just dip the tip in. Texas Tech's weird mozzarella stick dog is in hell. And then, not unfortunately, it deserves it. The Sooner dog, which is the sad onions and Kraft singles on the hot dog, also in hell. So there we go, boys. That's our list for Big 12 Eats. I feel like we got to keep doing these even when OU leaves.
oh yeah. Like it's a interest. They come at the perfect times where there usually is a lack of content per se, and so yes, I agree. These they come basketball and baseball tournaments, and so if we're not breaking down a full basketball tournament, which immediately gets ruined in like 24 hours, then we break down the eats.
Yeah.
I like it.
And it keeps some regionality about it, you know.
The
Yeah,
SEC
I feel like
needs to do this. Like, this is the part about...
It would get too heated. People would commit actual crimes over
But that's what I want.
arguments over the food.
I poisoned the Alabama white sauce dogs. They're all rancid.
Blake, I do have a question for you and the beloved listeners and viewers of the Schooner Pod. Did you notice perhaps, I'm not saying that this is what occurred, but did you notice perhaps that there was maybe an argument stirred up by Bobby near the end with the K-State dog, and during all the smoke and heat of that argument, he used that opportunity to slip in a way to increase the ranking of the Oklahoma State dog, almost like a covert agent.
That is true.
Sent to produce propaganda. I would like any sort of proof that Chase was actually phoned in for this, because I think this could just be a sleeper agent caught in action.
I got the messages on my phone. I'm not, well, you know,
From his Oklahoma State handlers.
Bobby's texting right now. Chase, please respond, please.
Oh, there he is. There he is right there. We're good.
Oh, Chase.
Told you. Anyways. All right, I think that's our show, guys. Another good tier ranking because it's a good concept, and I'm not insecure about it at all. So hoping to do more of these as the summer progresses. So always a lot of fun. So we should find some we should find some fun ones to do. What?
You're like, I hope we get to do more tier makers, as if you don't have complete creative control over what we do each week.
Valid point. Valid point. Let's make tier makers and put them behind my paywall. It'll be great.
Tier makers of the tier makers that we've made.
Yeah, we should have tier makered the Big 12 Eat sessions. We have 6 of them by now, so I think this is a hell. Although it actually kind of says that if you look at the tier maker, it makes a big C. So I guess it's a C tier maker episode.
This is going off the rail.
A little bit. Thank you all so much for watching, or God bless you if you listened. I hope you were able to follow some of this. The YouTube video is way better, but if you're listening at this point, you just listened all the way through, and you probably shouldn't. Listen, watch this one again.
Before we go,
They can't
we
unwatch it.
we gotta plug. Bobby won't subscribe on Substack Channel 4. Bobby's starting his own, bringing back the written word. It's something that is very needed in this country. Bobby's doing a great job over there. $5 a month, it's worth it. Yeah, some great Oklahoma City, some great OU content, and I read the blog today. I know there's plenty to come this summer. Bobby is a man of many things, not just sports. So great, great movie summer. Great. There's so much content. Soccer, movies. What else is? Oh, the Olympics. There's gonna be some. There's gonna be a display of about like 50 sports coming up, and Bobby has it all covered. So subscribe.
Well, thanks, Blake. And I'm sure we'll get some of the guys on, or some of the guys and love, popping up on there too. So make sure to give it a look. I'm running it free for like the early parts, so y'all can kind of get to see what it's about and give it a subscribe. So definitely check it out. I'll link it here in the YouTube as well. So give it a check out, y'all. So cool. All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. That's actually a big episode. I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. We're bringing on my former colleague, Jenny Carlson, to talk about the Women's College World Series, little OU football. It'll be great. It's like our first actual guest we've ever had. So there you go. Big Schooner Pod stuff right there. So very, very happy about that. Having an actual journalist on the show will be like seeing a polar bear in Arlington, Texas, but it'll be cool. It'll be good. So, all right. Anyways, that's our show. We'll see you next time, everyone. Boomer Sooner.